Polish coming in at speed for, oh no, De Lind, sorry, of Netherlands coming in at speed.
Good clean start.
Dowden closest to us, good start from him. Look at that as a field, that is impressive.
What a spectacle.
4.39.
Rules allow the athletes to take any line they want.
Cattell having a look across, see where he is. Argentinian in there. Looks like Hungary leading, Denmark to his left. No, there's Uli Hart in the middle.
Super strong start from Matteo Vitor of Italy as well.
Knudsen leads. In the back, I think that's Pele from Hungary. He's getting pinballed back. The other Dane pushing up into the V. 2 under-23s in 1V, doesn't stack up for long. There's contact. It was always going to happen. Those two blue boats were always going to come together, and it's the Dane. He's rescued himself, and he's made it into that lead V, only to be cut out again as the black boat comes across. 4.39 there on the French Tanguy Cattell.
But it's Denmark's Philips Knudsen who has taken up the pull at the front.
And looks
France alongside him.
Strong. Early days, of course, Canada there, represented by Lowe. We don't often see Canadians at the sharp end of these races. Here comes Fernandez from Spain, much more familiar country at the front end. Up goes Canada, try and hold him off. Chatel from Spain holds both of them off. Cattell from France there, looking very, very smooth. Italy, 4.13, Vitor looking good as well. Tim Dowden from Great Britain, awesome start from him, absolutely phenomenal.
The Netherlands, Rick ten Linde, right up at the sharp end. Excited to see Cameron Lowe of Canada sitting just on the second wave.
Here comes Pele, that's a display of power right there. He's going to take out Dowden, who falls back. He's going to get into a nice V behind him, Tim Dowden. And Tim Dowden, oh, what a gift that was. Up goes the Italian and Tim Dowden. It all falls for him. Uli Hart gets pushed back a couple of places, but brilliant work for Dowden there to end up in that front V. Attack from the right from Spain. France holds him off. The Canadians found himself out of his depth suddenly. He's been dropped back. It's super tight at the front. No one wants to really drop back. Here goes Knudsen again, just working his way to the front. The Canadians still in there.
Charging through the middle of that pack. Tim Dowden recovering really nicely from a bit of contact with the neighboring boat. Hart just came slicing through like a hot knife through butter.
Hart's covering his options between the green boat and the Danish boat there. He doesn't know who's going to lead yet, so he's pushed high up. Green boat leads and he moves over to the green boat. That's professional racing right there. That's a learning point for anyone watching this. I'm not sure whether it's bedtime or it's raining.
It's still raining. For those of you that are right about it, it's not Teddy and Slippers time.
Up goes France again. Knudsen holds him off. This is very, very unsettled.
There's heaps of testosterone here.
You can see no one really wants to lead, but nobody wants to get pushed back through the group.
Vitor goes to the front.
These look like the four strong athletes in the group. Sellier has made his way up there as well. Through goes Pele. Sellier will go with him. Dowden's following him up. Brilliant from him so far.
Uli Hart is trying to bully his way through the middle. It's a real arm wrestle at the front.
Comes. Oh my word. This is stressful. Pele leads.
He's can open the front.
To his right. Dowden falls into the V. Oh, he just gets pushed out by
bit of contact
Italian
on the
there.
tail.
But he's across to the second V.
It's all action at the front of the first lap.
This is brilliant. Look at that. Pele from Sellier, from Hart, from Knudsen on the right-hand side, blue tip on his boat. Tim Dowden in the all-white boat. The two Argentinians both in there. The youngster just hanging on in the white boat there.
And that's Italian Luca Ferlogio in the yellow boat.
That's easy for you to say, Dave.
We'll just call him Luca. Verligoi.
This is brilliant. We've got a little blip there.
And it's all happening at
Through comes
breakneck
Poland.
speed.
4:24. He wants to mix it. Wiskowski from Poland. He's fed up with being at the back. We've got another Spaniard coming through. It's all change. I've lost Dowden in that. Have I? No, he's just towards the back in the white boat. Next to the yellow boat there, I think.
Verligio, after putting his hand up so dramatically, has just cascaded down to the back of the bus.
If you're going to do something that dramatic, it has to stick. Otherwise, it's super high cost. Pelly looking quality. Someone coming on the right. It's the Frenchman again. 4:39. It's Cattell. Keeps coming round. Held off by the Dane. Knudsen. Through comes Poland again. High cost. He's not going to make this past Sellier. Sellier way too aware and alert for that. That's amateur from the Polish there. That was a move that was never going to stick.
Breakneck speed at the front of this group.
And Ratto from Argentina in that black boat is finally embedding himself in this group. Catalano, the junior, off the back.
Bottom turn now. Huge bunch.
Bottom turn's the easy one. It's the top one we have to worry about. No one's going to miss a buoy on the bottom turn. It's the top turn. Who's in the blue boat coming up the left?
At speed.
Is this Hart coming far left here? No, Hart's leading over there. Sorry.
They're waiting Uli Hart to come to the front to take up the pull at the front. Pelly has decided he's going to hop onto Uli Hart's wave.
Is that Matt Fenn on the outside?
See if
I think it is Fenn coming, who made that move on the inside. Yep, there you go.
Matt Fenn.
Matt Fenn with a slightly dodgy haircut.
Yeah, he has. He's from East London. I mean, that's what goes down there.
Okay.
You saw Burkett's moustache at the Olympics. It's what happens in London.
And that's a group, and it's not going to settle for a long, long time, this race.
It's a huge group.
Two Danes up there now, Knudsen and Jorgensen. Jorgensen with the lighter hair, Knudsen in the back. And this is good racing.
Both Argentinians in the mix there. Joaquim Catalano, we're looking forward to see what he can do over the duration of this race, and Pedro Ratto.
Ratto's going to be up the sharp end. Catalano, I think, is going to find himself come up a little bit short against the bigger guys here today.
He's in august company right now, and he's holding his own.
So it's Hart, Sellier, Pelly, Jorgensen, Ratto, Fenn, Iglesias, Knudsen, Wiskowski, Broden from Sweden, and Cattell from France. That's your front group, roughly of 11 people. It's Catalano in the blue and white boat, just dangling off the back there. Ratto, his teammate, just in front in the blue and white stripy shirt. Contact at the back here with the, I'm not sure why. That's Broden in the green boat from Sweden. Up goes Knudsen on the left. Back to Australia, Moldova, Slovenia ×2. Then Croatia, and then Canada, I think. But this is where the race is at. Portugal joined that group now. That's Santos of Portugal. He was third last year.
Paddles down, time for a change of the pull at the front.
I think everyone just wants a bit of a breather now. Pelly getting squeezed into that front V. Pushing, I think, Fenn back into the second V there. On the outside, the Frenchman, Cattell. uncomfortable there. And then the Spaniard coming around the left of Cattell. That's going to be Fernandez. Right on the outside of that group. Leading Selye, Uli Hart, Philip Knudsen, either side of him. In the back, Pelli. Then the Polish, Wazowski. Ratto on the inside with an overlap on him from Catalano. Not sure where Catalano thinks he's going there. It's a tough one there to hold your position. Not really on the wave, not really on any wave, Catalano there. Just needs to settle down and drop onto the back probably of his teammate. But he's trying to force his way up the inside.
There's no room to get through there.
France and Spain moved out. And then finally it's settling down. Catalano's dropped onto the tail. Probably the safer of the options. At the back of the group, Santos. Front of the group is Selye. Pelli in the V with his drink round his neck there with the yellow tape. Uli Hart closest to us. Knudsen to the right. Wiskowski in the red boat. The black boat of France and Cattell.
Uli Hart nearest the camera in the grey boat. He's been learning the fine art of marathon racing from Hank McGregor, who he's been racing a lot of K2 with, and you'll see him on Sunday. So a few better people to learn the finesses and the streetwise craft of marathon racing than 11 times K1 champ Hank McGregor. But a huge bunch is now going to paddle out in front of this grandstand crowd that's assembled here in Metkovic for this arm wrestle and it's going to be a real sort of under 23 testosterone laced arm wrestle.
The top turn is going to be super interesting because I don't think Selye, well, Knudsen could well go to the front for the turn, I think. I think he's got the power to do that, but there's a lot of people to the left of the leaders. Here it goes again, France pushing up. On the outside, Spain hoping he'll push up. Canada still in the mix. More expensive work from the pole, who takes on Knudsen, not the man to be taken on. Selye moves to the front, Knudsen holds, and again an expensive move that came to nothing from the pole. You can only do so many of those. Pelli is the one who's benefiting from all of this. He sat tidily in the V, doing very, very little.
The bright green boat in the center of the shot there belongs to the Swede Carl Broden, who's just been quietly staying out of trouble on the outside of this.
Here goes Knudsen. He means it this time. Get the feeling he wants to lead into the turn. Stringing out towards the back, the strugglers here. You got Santos, you've got Dowden. That change of speed. Knudsen cutting it pretty tight on the corners, which again ricochets back down the group.
Uli Hart trying to shake some weed off the nose of his boat.
The blue boat of Jorgensen also struggling there.
Selye almost paddling the nose of his boat into Knudsen's paddle.
Which is, Knudsen, to be fair, is cutting him quite fine on the edges, and it's always a high risk, but he's backed off now. But when Knudsen goes out for this turn, it is going to be super interesting. It's going to get strung out big time around the turn. My guess is we'll see a couple of people not make it round the turn inside all the boys. There's Santos at the back. He was third last year. There's Catalano, the junior. Dowden just behind, excuse me, just behind him, the Canadian and the Czech. Here we go. We're getting close to the crossover. The crossover will be super, super interesting. I think Pelli's gone already. There he goes. Somebody's already gone on the left, but it's going to be dictated by the Dane. Poland getting squeezed left. The Argentinian, here we go. It's all kicking off.
And there's a spin out.
Not as if
Argentina's been spun out.
It's not as if we didn't see it coming.
Spain's been spun out as well.
Spain was just held up on the Argentinian. They're going to back into the Canadian. They're all over the place. The Spaniard could have done the Argentinian a favour there and at least turned his boat round with a nose of his.
Oh.
Those two are out now. It's a long way back from there. Yeah, that was always going to happen. You're stacked up on the outside of a leader who was motivated. You'd already established the leader didn't care. He'd cut the right-handers into the pontoons. He was going to cut you into the buoys. And to be fair, Knudsen, that is a good job done.
Well, there's the other Spanish boat still in the mix, but
Fernandez still there.
Iglesias.
Santos still there. Still the French in there. He's doing a good job. I'm liking what he's doing. Poland, way too busy for my liking, but he's still in the game at the moment.
Let's have a look at a replay of that spin out. Keep your eye on Iglesias.
It's the back of the Argentinian. It's the Dane.
The Dane touches the Argentinian's boat, and Iglesias, the Spaniard, gets caught in the traffic.
What can anyone do about that?
It was a micro touch on the tail of the boat, and
here comes Ratto now in that black boat. He's got a lot of closing up to do. Maybe he's up to the job. We've seen the Argentinians do some extraordinary things. But that's a big group up in front. Sellier, Wiskowski, Fenn, Santos, Hart, Fernandez, Broden, Pelly. People who've managed themselves super well so far. Sellier, Hart, Fernandez, Pelly, Knudsen for me. And the French guy whose name isn't on the list yet.
Hart coming up on the outside.
Hart and Knudsen look strong. Through comes Broden in the green boat. Sellier being forced back. He's going to be forced back again when Broden gets squeezed in. This sits well for the people who are trying to catch this group. The
Broden getting bumped a little sideways.
Is going to be low. Hart did well to hold on to that. How did Broden not cut Hart off that wave?
Yeah.
That's strength, either strength, not Hart, Fenn in the back there, isn't it? So all settled, round comes the pole again for another big effort. Santos too clever for that.
Oh, and we have a swimmer.
It's
we have a swimmer in the form of the local
Croatia.
boy, Josip Slonjak. Do best to swim that to shore, I think.
Out to the side, far right of your screen, Ratto making his way back from that very unfortunate incident. He's closed down one group already. He's going to duck into that one for a brief rest, I imagine. Into the V. Into the V he goes. He'll get a little bit of a breather, and then he's going to close the gap on the front group, and that is pretty impressive. Sellier to the outside. Poland in the red boat.
Diego Fernandez at the front of this large group coming down to the bottom turn.
Look at that. Oh, the closing group's splintered. Ratto didn't get his V-wash because someone's fallen off that group, and he spent a lot, by the look of it, getting to that group.
He's going to try and cut across himself on his own.
So who is that the Canadian leading that group up the outside?
They've just about bridged.
Out again goes the pole. Santos in the back, just giving way to Fenn. Catalano, last year's junior, still in the mix.
Philip Knudsen looking really strong early on in this race.
Before all that happened, Catalano was dangling off the back of this group, remember, and now he's right there in the blue and white boat. Pelly, he's got the speed if he wants it to get round Knudsen, but it would be a battle that he maybe doesn't want to pick.
Sellier making the move, but Knudsen's shadowing him.
And Ratto on the edge of that group at the back there. He made it. It was the Canadian who came up this side with Dowden. So everyone back in. Dowden will probably just make his way up another V-wash here, just to his right, just to settle in deeper into the group. Sellier, Knudsen.
Knudsen now making a move. Puts his foot down.
Where did Pelly go?
Hart goes with him.
Okay, oh no, Pelly on the far side there, still in the game. I'd lost him for a minute. Light green boat with a red tip. Ratto just working his way into the back of the group. He's going to aim for the back of Santos. And mate, does that man need a rest? Superb. Slow at the front now.
Nobody really wants
Canada
to take the
taking on Poland.
Canada's.
Through goes the pole again. Ratto just glad for a break. Canada, Poland.
This is super impressive from Cameron Lowe in the Canadian colours. He's effectively leading the world champs. Looks around and sees the company he's in, and I think he likes it. He's up for it.
Yes, but what's his plan there?
Yeah.
Okay, so his plan's to go to the front. That works for me. Dowden's going to come to his left. Hart trying to bully into the back there, taking on Santos. Round the right comes the speed merchant Pelly. Hart going with him. Canadian, if he cuts across here, then he's in the game, the Canadian. And he's done it. He's going to check Hart into the V.
Broden in the green boat, trying to make sure that he's part of the action at the front.
Canadian's just earned his stripes there among this crowd. Dowden still up there doing a superb job. Cellier at the back of the group now. No Argentinians there after that burst of speed. There's the pole. He was always going to go backwards. He was running a high-cost strategy, and he's going to suffer a little bit now, especially coming into a turn like that. That's not very helpful to anyone, is it? That might be the last we see. Poland.
That turn has strung this group out now as they head into the calmer water on the extreme right-hand side of the Neretva.
It was just that injection of pace from Pelly that stretched the group, and everyone who'd been spending up to that point has now paid.
Well, as a statement of intent, Pelly showed everybody, as and when needed, I've got the gas to change this game.
I think, yeah, the last we'll see of Poland is running an inefficient strategy. Catalano, though, still in there for Argentina. He's back. Pelly doesn't want to know anymore. The average speed now will drop right down. Two Danes to Pelly's left. Sweden in the green. South Africa, Hungary and Portugal make up the next line. Then South Africa with Hart and Catalano from Argentina. Catalano only second in the juniors last year to Vergoven. Someone out there. We got someone top of the screen trying to make
yes,
their way.
we have.
It's the Frenchman.
Somebody in the middle of the river
trying to make his way up undetected. Up goes Santos. Oof.
Matt Finn in the grey boat trying to make some progress up the middle of that group, but he's got nowhere to go.
He's got his teammate running into his paddle there as well. At the back of the group, the Frenchman's just joined in again at the back. Ratto at the back of that for Argentina.
Pelly happy to see a change at the front.
I think the speed's a little higher when Knudsen's leading. Pelly has the turn of speed and the acceleration. I don't know if you noticed, Dave, but somebody's given us a biscuit assortment.
I haven't got close to the biscuits. You're hogging them. It's the Lawler way. As the minute treats arrive, Notice of a 30-second penalty for boat 414, which is Valdemar Jorgensen of Denmark, for the collision at the turn cans. So he's going to come in and have to serve 30 seconds.
That's a long 30 seconds as well.
So that was the start of the dominoes that were toppled at that top turn can that we watched on the slow-mo a few moments ago.
That was the crash that took Ratto out, but Ratto's back with the person who has to take the 30-second penalty, who's in the blue boat, second at the moment. If you're going to take a penalty, it's good to be at the front of your group when it happens, that's for sure.
Oh, he's going to be hopping mad when he sees the numbers on the board, but I guess you kind of know that there's always a likelihood that that's going to happen, so...
You wonder if anyone has been able to inform him.
Lawler, if you don't pass me one of those biscuits, I'm going to be forced to crawl over your highlighters to get one. Thank you.
No one crawls over my highlights.
I know it would have been
in the same way that no one puts baby in a corner, Dave. This is serious stuff.
It needed something extreme.
Okay, so the two South Africans looking really confident. I really like Santos from Portugal. He's doing well. The two Argentinians, well, hats off to them. Canada, I thought I was talking about earlier as if he was only a temporary fixture in this group, but I think he's earned his place, and yeah, he is there. It must have slowed down because we got regrouping at the back. France again moves out to the left. Not sure where he's going. I think he's just uncomfortable where he is and wants something to change. So Denmark and Denmark. One of those, though, has got a 30-second penalty coming up, and that's the one in the blue boat.
414, Jorgensen. I'm enjoying all these howls of support from South America. Keep them coming.
France spending again on the outside, but this time he might make some progress up the group. He's going to get to Sellier there, but we're portage in this time. And just as Knudsen had decided at this stage he was going to lead into the turn on the last lap, he's already decided he's going to lead into the portage. This is going to come down to management. Pelly very comfortable in that green boat with the red tips. I think the big guns gradually filtering to the front.
Now our first chance to have a look at what they can do on the portage. "30 seconds is an awful long time. You can see a few differences in the faces there. Some way more relaxed than others. Catalano just looking a little bit like deer caught in the headlights, but still sticking with the big dogs.
I don't know, he was so cool in the junior race last year. Here we go, it's splitting for the portage. We got about 5 coming left.
This is
Uli Hart coming in at speed, as is Catalano behind him. It's going to be tough. Catalano up, out. He's got his boat before Hart, and he's going to do well on the run, that's for sure.
Knudsen is good.
Where's the blue boat? Gone. Oh, he's there. He's still there. He's going to have to get across, though, to the penalty box. There's the pole.
Oh, the pole.
He's out.
He's gone. He's... And
for what?
Knudsen's down.
No, that's not Knudsen. That's the
other Dane.
Knudsen's just getting in.
That's Jorgensen who's coming in for the penalty box. That's the penalty. My goodness. Okay. Jorgensen with the 30-second penalty for causing the collision a little earlier on.
Luckily, there's a lot of space here in this group. Catalano in all sorts of trouble getting into his boat, as is Broden there. Ratto in the top 5. Oh, it's
the
a
longest
long way.
30 seconds
of
your life. Surely we are done.
Away he goes.
And that front group has shrapnelled with that portage.
But at least with it being that long, the front group, you've got a ladder back to the front.
Well, there's 6 now, all of a sudden.
Is that Hart at the back of that? Hart or Fenn? Where's his mate? He's asking where his mate is, I think. I've got Broden, round those boys in the green boat. He's on his own. It's going to be that's a tough catch up. Ratto in the green boat at the front of that shot. Here's the tailback, right back to the pole. France all the way back there.
It's Cattell is, yeah.
Cattell so smooth through the first couple of laps. He looks like he's done.
He does. Something's gone wrong there. He's looking unusually slow.
Dowden back there also with Wiskowski of Poland and Santos. There's your big 4, I think. Pelly hoping to make a little bit stick here. Santos will drop straight back, no questions asked. And Pelly, he seems prepared to lead for short distances. Is that Ollie Hart?
I think it is.
I don't think he'll thank anyone for that overhead shot. He looks a bit thin on top.
Oh, the sad news for Cameron Lowe, he's done. Cameron Lowe of Canada, who was just really barking with the big dogs and looking like he could hold his own. I can tell you that he has now stopped at the portage, and he's got rudder problems.
Oh no!
He's clearly knocked the rudder on the portage. It's wedged tight. He's trying to open the rudder cable assembly hatch at the top. He's trying to loosen it, but that boat is, unless he can, it's a Herculean effort to try and bend that rudder pin, but it's...
You know, bending the rudder back is all very well until you snap it off. And sometimes it's better just to snap it off.
But there he is, a look of resignation. He's got hands on his hips right now, and I think he's realized it's good night, nurse. What a frustration. I got to say, one of the standout youngsters putting his hand up here has been Cameron Lowe for Canada, who are screaming for somebody in Marathon K1
they are.
to step up to the mantle, and he was doing it.
He did.
Breaks my heart to watch him now because, well, he showed us what he's got to offer. He'll be back.
You know, always those people. We had the Frenchman in there as well. We had Dowden in there for a while. We had Catalano in there. But ultimately, it comes down to the big boys again. And they just have that little bit of spare capacity to get things right. It's when you're on the limit that things don't go right. And that's happened to Cameron Lowe. He's just outside our window now. And yeah, it's a tough call.
Selja at the front. Another athlete down.
This Croatian.
It looks like
a swim earlier and
getting some medical help at this stage. He's holding his hand.
Might just be for comfort, Dave. There's your front group. So front group: Selye, Fenn, Pelly, Santos, Knudsen, Ratto. Catalano next on the water. I'm not sure how close he is to these 6.
Oli
Fernandez.
Fenn comes bullying into the picture, zooming into the frame.
So we're breaking into the more traditional sized groups. We've had some big groups on this race so far, and it's been super exciting.
It's been a lot of chest thumping and testosterone here. It's been great racing.
We've got the senior men's to come as well, and the junior men. It's K1. So we've got a lot of testosterone to come. And now the speed has virtually stopped. Second group, led by Hart, are going to make it. Canadian getting back on the water.
Good man.
That's he's joining in a very different type of race than the one he left.
Well, he's made his mark. There's no doubt about that. Let's hope that rudder assembly holds out for the remainder of the race.
So
6 at the front with a chasing group of 4 coming up on the right.
Chasing group of 4 is Hart, Fernandez, Broden and Catalano.
Matt Fenn leading the under-23 world champs. You'll love this.
So was it Matt Fenn then that looked a bit...
No, he's got the mullet.
Overhead shot.
Ollie Hart would have been the one looking a little bit
The overhead
thin.
shot clearly showed a bit of thinning, I thought. And it wasn't Uli, because Uli's in the second group, so...
Put it this way, Lawler, it's a good thing there's no drone hovering over our commentary spot right now.
Most definitely. I don't think it takes a drone to realise we're thinning on top, Dave.
The photo of your Crocs and socks is gone, by the way. It's whizzing around the world.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Okay, Hart joins in the back of the group. We're getting big. Group again.
Celia coming up on the outside of Fenn, who's shadowing Pelly. The Portuguese boat coming up into the middle is
Santos. Really like what he's doing. He hasn't put a foot wrong yet. Cellier comes round Fenn onto the side of Knudsen. Ratto leads.
Fenn drops down to the back of this bunch.
Hart, Catalano, Broden, and falling off the back, I think, was the Spaniard.
Pedro Ratto in the Argentinian colours now at the front.
Fernandez was the one at the back of this group. Coming up for the next turn.
Suitable indicator of what's going on in Argentinian marathon paddling at the moment to have 2 under-23s in the front bunch.
I know we're travelling at a different speed, but look how far back they sit on the wave rather than right forward on it.
Finn sneaking inside these turn boys here, just losing a little bit of speed in the process.
You're safe on the inside there, though.
Yeah,
It's just got to make your journey round. On the right-hand side, though, I think it was Cellier who made a break for the edge first. Fernandez of Spain. No, it was Pelly. Pelly goes for the inside. Across comes Fenn. He's done this a couple of times now. Knudsen not having any of that.
No, he's watching it like a hawk.
Just moves out on him. Then he'll move back onto Ratto, who will fall back into that half V. It's still those front 6. The other 4 just struggling. They can get back to the 6, but to break into it is a different game.
Hart is leading the fight back onto that bunch.
Certainly Fernandez at the moment not having anything going his way.
Pelly, Knudsen.
You're just going to have to turn off my mic for long enough for me to have a biscuit there, Dave.
Okay, you're on biscuit duty. So it's lap 3 as we head up to the portage. Zalan Pelly of Hungary in the green boat with the red nose. Leading on the way up, Philip Knudsen in the white boat with the blue nose. He's just sitting on his wave. And the pace is not hot to the point that the stragglers have been able to get back onto the bunch at the back.
Knudsen moving out there to let Fenn through.
Are you done with the biscuit? All right.
Yes, so I finished my biscuit. Thank you, Dave. Knudsen moving out to let Fenn through. He wants Fenn to come through and do some leading.
Hart tries to accept that invitation instead. Has to have a quick ching chong chow with Uli Fenn to see who's actually going to move into that space. Uli Fenn is the one that wins it.
Pelly comes across to Knudsen. Knudsen does not want to be leading. He just wants someone to come through who hasn't done anything yet. He's not. Pelly takes it up. Santos safe on the inside. Catalano in the back. Paul, Italian, the Frenchman's back there now. He's out the race, as is Dowden. Out the race, I mean out the front group. Catalano and Broden just making contact again.
9 on the bunch as they hug the reeds on that right-hand turn, leading to the second portage.
So Pelly, Santos, Knudsen, Sellier, and maybe Fenn are looking well organised. Ratto did all that work. He is back. He is secure. And then Hart, Catalano and Broden
You just get a sense
feel
that
vulnerable, I think.
Catalano gives you the sense that he's hanging on by the skin of his teeth.
I reckon he's a hard ass. I think he can do it all day. It's just whether he can. You just got to get into this front little bit rather than at the back little bit, just to give yourself a little bit of security. Okay, up goes the South African, Hart to the left of Sellier. Potentially already thinking about the portage. Hart will want to go, there he goes, he wants to go round. Sellier says no, and Hart wisely gives up. Just 2 pulls from Hart, and he gave it up. And Santos, like a rat up a drain pipe, goes straight onto that. It's like, it opened up for all of it. Where is Fenn think he's going? Is really? He did do it, and now there's all sorts of trouble because on the back of Santos's boat, I think it was Catalano who, as Santos dropped back, no, it was, yeah, there's Santos.
Hart finds himself in the strong position on the left. He's going to drop the hammer as they try to jockey for position coming into the portage. He's happy to go wide to do it, and they're having to shadow him
Hart's
as he does.
Done well. He has cemented himself in the front few.
That's a healthy warning shot from Uli Hart.
Yeah, you had all those incidents, and yeah, we've had people blamed for tapping the back of other people's boats, but that was all started. Yeah, I don't know if our messages. I don't want to say what I want to say in case the judges are listening. I'm going to keep quiet. But there was some unnecessary aggression there from someone in that group that caused that. Somebody pushed into a position they had no right to be in, and that's what caused all the trouble there. And those sort of things are logged by the other paddlers. You don't want people like that in your group if you can help it, because they're a liability. You need to know that when you're being squeezed out, there's somewhere to fall back into.
Knudsen from Sellier as they get closer and closer to that portage.
Knudsen clearly likes to be in the lead at the sort of pivotal points. And he's done it every time, so currently looks the strongest in the race.
Some weed removal in preparation for the portage.
Santos has recovered from the little incident earlier. He's on the back of this 6. I like what Hart did there. He took a chance going around the outside, and it stirred the group up enough so that he landed well out of it.
Well, the top 2 are going to go right again, I think. So he might well look at going left, but he's going to need to fire the afterburners just to keep his speed up going into it. It's a slightly longer paddle in. You don't want to sacrifice too much going in there.
How relaxed Santos is at the back of that group. Low hands, looking behind, really super relaxed.
He's got a chocolate bar in his mouth.
Maybe that's why he's relaxed. Sellier pushes.
Looks like he might be going left, Knudsen going right.
Santos still holding on to the gel bag.
So it's Knudsen who goes right, Sellier leads, Hart going left. Fenn is out quickly on the right. Hart is a little slow getting out of the boat, but he's okay.
Pelly, Ratto.
Knudsen running well with the boat.
Pelly running fast there. Pelly looks like he's trying to overtake Knudsen.
It's a move.
They both want to get to the far end of the landing stage. Knudsen held him off, but that has stretched the group a little bit. Pelly just backed off rather than keep going.
And that's the put-in I was talking about. Speed put-in. Came down at pace, boat put into the board, carried on moving. well worth the replay when things get a little bit
And
quiet. And look what it's done to him. It's
Fenn second out of that, Sellier third, Pelly fourth. It's a good group. Then it's Santos.
And
then
Hart. Ratto next.
Absolutely. You're on it, Dave. But at the front, it's Knudsen pressing on.
There's an opportunity here to make... Oh, it's really tight around the cans. Contact between second and third. All's well that ends well.
Santos, just that boat in shot. Where are we now with this guy? I think a long way back still. I don't think he's made any headway.
Italy coming into the portage. Matteo Vittor prepping himself to come into the feed lane. Milan Decker.
That's
Matteo Vittor.
Talind there, son of Dolph Talind, who used to race in my generation. I think he's training out with the Danes now. And he's stepped it up a notch. He's obviously been practicing getting in his boat.
Yeah, Silkeborg seems to have been the place to go and train at the moment.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, once you've got a group of good guys there, it is where people go. And people gravitate towards that. Pelly putting in a solid, this is a solid lead now. Fenn, the beneficiary. But it was Knudsen who did the damage coming into and running on that portage.
Zalan Pelly in the green boat with the red nose.
Uli Hart in the chase. It's a good chase pack. There's 3 workers in there.
There's not a lot of urgency. I'm looking at Hart, who's now waiting for the pull to rotate.
His pull was good. These guys have stopped now as well.
They've banked a 15-meter lead, I'd say, at this stage in the game, as Sellier comes to the front. Matt Fenn comes up on the outside.
Pelly, after his strong lead, has earned the ride in the back of the group.
Permission to have a biscuit, Ivan.
Go wild, Dave.
It's yours for 30 seconds.
And Ratto tries to bridge that gap for the second time. First 4 away, Sellier, Fenn, Knudsen and Pelly. But Ratto is with them. He's just there in shot in that distinctive blue and white shirt, and he's bringing Santos with him. Not sure where Fenn is in that, not Fenn, Hart is in that picture. Still in there, still in the game. Santos makes a run for the tail of the group. Ratto is going around the outside. Santos has fancied his chances to go direct to the tail of Sellier. And Uli Hart sticking with him.
Santos powering back onto the back of this bunch.
An efficient catch-up from those guys. That's a group with Yehoda, Miskowski, Dowden. For Ligoi from Italy leading, and the Dane who was so far up the field earlier, Jorgensen, and now back in 4th.